First, appeal to Generation Z with tech products that invite participation and appeal to them on a number of different levels. Non-linear storytelling is key. Help them to discover content. And next, sell in beta. Generation Yo wants to test drive all aspects of life, from new apps to lifelong matrimony. So win them over by offering taster-free periods or early get-out clauses. And with that, I want to move on to what this means for retailers. What we're seeing is that shoppers, all but especially the millennial generation and below, are increasingly disinclined to view the world in terms of channels. They just aren't that bothered. What this means is that the idea of omni-channel, let alone multi-channel, is already somewhat outdated. We really are in the wild west of retail. Overall, modern consumers are a fickle bunch with more concerns about access, shareability, and fluidity than what channel they're using. Shopping in stores, via computers, mobile devices, social media, even through virtual commerce. Of course, all of these channels matter, but what matters most is the brand connections that let consumers keep their eyes on the prize as they hop around. This was something that we first analyzed last year in our trend Anywhere Retailing, an investigation of the move away from traditional linear retail towards a world of shoppable content, including buying from magazines, TV, blogs, and even each other. Last year, Nike released Nike Album with Finnish company Kiosk. Kiosk is a platform for brands and publishers that means digital content can be embedded with a layer of smart information that makes it dynamically shoppable. Basically, wherever the content ends up, the details are always relevant to the location. Bloggers all over the world could access Nike's material from which their readers could shop. The bloggers and Kiosk received a commission on all sales, and of course, Nike's reach grew vastly. The blogger brand angle is especially key now because the promise of shoppable content becomes that much greater when the content is driven by the consumer community itself. We're witnessing a new breed of entrepreneurial consumers that look to each other, to those with whom they socialize or have shared interests, for advice and for inspiration. Here you see a set of top bloggers repped by New York blogger agency Socialite that also owns fashion website fashionindie.com. It's currently in the process of commercializing its web pages with embedded links and a sidebar that displays just the shoppable items. But when I talk about the social world, I don't mean Facebook. What really matters now is the much more visual sweet spots, namely Instagram. Instagram currently has almost 200 million users, 90% of which are millennials. It really epitomizes the peer influence mentality that's at the heart of the blogger culture. Nike currently holds top spot in terms of followers, with Adidas and Vans not far behind. And in terms of retail, previously Instagram was really just an ad space for brands, but now a host of third-party businesses are making it directly shoppable. Like to Know It is an Instagram-specific sales platform that emails a shoppable link to anyone who has liked a specifically tagged Instagram post. It also enables users to save items to return to them later. Now, here you have the US edition of Vogue, which has just started working with the platform. It takes a commission on any items bought, and it excellently highlights just how hybridized retail is becoming. This is monetized media and social. And it's also spawning retail platforms that are actually aping sites like Instagram. These platforms are learning from consumers' own behaviors, the stuff that's already piqued their imagination. Last month, we saw the launch of Spring, which works just like Instagram. Users see images from the brands they follow, and suggestions come via the buttons New and Discover. Their lists are curated by influencers. Products can be quickly scrolled through, enlarged, and then swiped away to carry on. Unlike some previous attempts at mimicking social sites, the critical thing here is that it's one touch to buy. The way that it does it is that users upload credit card information, sizes, shipping addresses, all at once, and no need to add anything further. There's not even a need for a shopping cart. And of course, This overall socialization of a retail experience is super relevant to the physical environment too. Karl Lagerfeld's flagships are still great examples of a brand that is grasping the value of sharing, but also immediacy. Its changing rooms are equipped with touch-screen photo booths, enabling shoppers to snap their outfits, apply Karl-inspired filters, and then share them via social media or email. The idea of a store as a kind of studio for content creation is increasingly important. Topshop and Forever 21 have both used dual in-store online photo booth campaigns that feed imagery of its shoppers doing things in-store across other media channels, giving teens their 15 minutes of fame and the brand feedback on a global scale. Sneaker Boy is a samples-only showroom space that does have staff, but they're mainly there just for service. Consumers check out items themselves via in-store tablets or Sneaker Boy's mobile app. What this shows is how tech in all aspects and all respects is really changing the way that consumers expect to experience retail in stores. Sneaker Boy provides a sense of control and, to an extent, privacy. As Chris Kivetos, Sneaker Boy's founder, says, if your customers shop online, they're used to controlling their own experience. They will naturally want that level of control in the store. And the personal control we're feeling in our digital worlds is a big deal and has other, perhaps less obvious, ramifications regarding the way that we'd expect to experience a store environment. As consumers' physical and digital lives blur, immersive e-tail experiences that transcend the conventional search by category format with more explorative, fictionalized brand spaces that will boom in value. This is a very low-level version of this in action with Kenzo. For its Autumn-Winter 2014 collection, a virtual tour of a fictional gallery space that users can navigate with smartphones or keypads. While they're in it, users can even hang out and watch mini-films. Jimmy Choo's shoppable virtual showroom, very similar concept, but what is interesting here is that it's actually a replica of its showroom used during the Milan catwalk shows back in February. But we think one of the most exciting and in-depth versions of this new form of insider immersion came from Topshop this year. They used virtual reality gaming tool Oculus Rift to transport a handful of its fans into an immersive hybrid version of its 2014 catwalk show. By looking around while wearing the headsets, users were transported to views of the set design, backstage footage, and the show itself, all overlaid with virtual animations, such as live tweets, fluttering across the screen. Right now, this is a lot of visual fun, and it may seem like a marketing gimmick, but we believe that we are on a verge of a shift from these experiences being very visual to hyper-interactive and social, which also means shoppable. Ambient interfaces, also known as VR control tools, basically virtual touch points in the air around us, will allow users at some stage to control how they navigate through these environments and also what they bring in or feed out in terms of communicating with others. But bringing things back to a more imminent present, we're already seeing moves towards closing that digital-physical loop via Bluetooth beacons. Basically, tiny wireless transmitters that are able to determine an individual's location to within inches and then send them to relevant messages. The most interesting and useful scenarios happen when beacons are synchronized with branded apps that contain additional information, like previous purchases or wish lists. British company The App Business is currently developing a beacon solution for a British DIY brand that takes into account local weather data. So for instance, when you walk past the store on a sunny day, the user will be sent an offer for barbecue items. We see another system called VM Beacons. It does a lot more than just give prompts. Users that have the app receive push notifications as they pass enabled windows, giving them information such as price, styling tips, and additional colors. They can also save items to an in-app wish list to review or buy later, or buy immediately via the app. If it's being used during store hours, a wayfinding feature provides easy directions for getting straight to the product in store. Apps that deliver info and access, shareable wish lists, and also direct line to a brand's own sales team are of huge importance especially when those platforms let the user set the pace. As a taster from the convenience section, here's a new app called SnapUp, an example of what we're dubbing Keep Me Posted Commerce. Users can take a screenshot of any product from any shopping app or mobile website, shots that then become snaps that can be filed into lists. Those lists are shareable, trackable, and alert the user when the price alters. And another key startup that we're watching and we think is very important is a firm called, UK firm called Donkey. The system allows two-way interaction between brand and shopper. Plus, users can also chat to their friends in the app, creating what the designers call a fully socialized customer relation management ecosystem. So to finish on an example of what really demonstrates the full digital-physical overlap, here's Neiman Marcus's service app. This app lets shoppers liaise with sales associates via text messages, browse products, create wish lists, and even arrange for products to be held in store. A built-in code reader lets customers scan in-store signage for product and trend information. And because the sales staff can see exactly the same details, it ultimately improves the service that they give. It's a holistic overview, but it's happening now. So what are the key takeaways? Non-linear thinking. Consumers are increasingly disinterested in what channel they're shopping from traditional channels right through to catwalks and blogs, as long as they get what they want. It's more important that the overall experience is seamlessly connected, however many turns it takes. Community connections. In an era arguably defined by the boom in social and interest-based networks, reaching individuals now means also targeting communities. Look to the groups. Look to how they communicate for success. Consumer-centric control. Consumers now expect much more access to brands and control over the retail experience than ever before. From personalized multi-service apps to customized products, this is an era of generation co-create. And real-time relevance. Real-time really matters. In the sped-up world we now live in, a good retail experience should be relevant all the time and in every place. That concludes my presentation. I hope you found it to be of interest. Copies of the presentation will be available through the organizers, the research report. And if you'd like any more information on the work that we're carrying out at Stylus Media Group, I'd be very happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Marc. Thank you very much.